the Holy Quran. Well, in Benin here, we're going to be looking at issues around the 2027 election. I mean, yesterday, Kwankwaso was in the media, making the fronts for the possibility of NDC and ADC coming together in this election. Now, the question we ask is that if they know they will eventually come together, why are they splitting in the first place?
If you take a look at the political scene, it's quite funny, but to me, it's better for Nigeria. Now, if you take a look at the ADC, Atiku made a statement, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, that the president should not be zoned to this house. He's standing his ground. Because he said, if you take a look at the north, only one part of the north, they've had the taste of presidency. His own side hasn't had a taste. So it's their turn also if you want to go by what zoning. It's not about this, I don't think. That is his own take. He was asked, according to reports, to step down for a Peter Obi Kwankwaso ticket. He refused, said, look, we have to go to this field to test our popularity. And that was what led to Peter Obi Kwankwaso moving to NDC. Now, if these factors are not changed, do you feel or do you think that the collaboration between NDC and ADC will work? It's a big no, it's not going to work. They're going to go to the field, carrying down emblem, NDC, ADC, APC, Labour. Where does Labour stand in this?
Well, PDP. What about PDP?
Well, PDP, they still have this litigation. People, okay, fine, PDP, I know PDP, but come on, you know where this particular tsunami is like, 10. The two was in the sense that we have three major contenders. Okay, let's say 5. APC, ADC, NDC, LP, PDP. But amongst these 5, the top 3. Okay. I wouldn't want to start pointing political, but the alliance will not work because it was disagreement that led to Peter Obi and Kwankwaso moving away from ADC to NDC. So coming together is like petrol and water. Will I say oil and water? Is it going to work?
Anyway, we tend to have the outgoing chairman of Labour Party in Edo State, Kelly Ogbaloy. Yeah, he's going to be doing some analysis to all that now as we make preparation. I thought you were going to give us a word. Yeah,
let me just add my own 2 cents. Continuing from where Mr. Wilson stopped, Atiku Abubakar actually is always trying to test his popularity. We saw that happen, in the last election. But then again, for something that didn't work when they were all together in the same party, is it when they are now separated that it would now work? Right, the issue of zoning is a conversation that has been on the front burner lately. Yesterday, Dele Momodu was at his sister station and he was also airing out his view, and he said that I feel like we're drifting away from the main conversation and then we're talking about zoning. But then again, the reason why the NDC over the weekend agreed on zoning to the south, and mind you, for just a term, is because currently we have a southern president in the person of President Bola Tinubu, and he's going to complete his 4 years definitely by the grace of God, and he would want to run again. So they're saying, what, how about we just complete it and allow a southern person, rule for 4 years. And we already know Peter Obi stands on saying he just wants to change and rule Nigeria for a single term. But then the question then again is, would 4 years be enough to change the trajectory of Nigeria? And I also listened to Rabiu Kwankwaso as well, where he said, I think the whole confusion emanated from when we lost former president, what's his name now? Musa Yar'Adua, and that was where the whole confusion actually, emanated from. But we're looking at how things will go, fingers crossed. But then again, let's not forget, I feel like we have different divided opposition parties. It's just going to give a free and a wonderful windslide for the incumbent government. Because I listened to Chieftain actually, and then he was saying, I think the opposition parties are missing the point. What they need to do at this point is to come together, work together to, fight if they truly want to get back power. But with the way things are going, it just seems that our president will definitely return in 2027.
All right, so that's the situation, and that's going to be the focal points of our discussion this morning from Benin, where we'll look at the ADC, NDC merger, and of course the possibility at the next presidential election. We'll take a short break now so that the corporate trainer Inwalata Nusakai will come into the program on his corporate word.
Oh, I ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
It's so good to come your way this morning and add another premium value to your day. Inuarata no Sahai is still my amiable name, and it has been a journey of teaching on the emotional intelligence knowledge or emotional intelligence concept, driving workplace productivity with emotional intelligence. And we have gotten to the fifth component of emotional intelligence, which is the emotional intelligence component of social skills. Now, the emotional intelligence component of social skills, which is that emotional intelligence component or level where all the other first four components of emotional intelligence come into physical demonstration, is your ability to build healthy relationships. It's your ability to communicate effectively, manage conflict, and inspire people positively. Now, what that means is that the emotional intelligence component of social skills is the ability to effectively manage relationship towards achieving desired outcome. And one industry where the importance of the emotional intelligence component of social skill cannot be overemphasized is the insurance industry. The insurance industry is an industry where the issue of emotional intelligence component of social skills need to be taken seriously. Now, as an insurance practitioner, your annuity competency, your actuary competency is just no longer enough. Every insurance practitioner needs to have the emotional intelligence component of social skill to be able to inspire team and then manage relationship towards achieving growth, especially in an environment like the Nigerian environment where there is serious insurance apathy. And that is why this morning, the case scenario we are going to be using to study and learn about the emotional intelligence component of social skill is focused on the insurance industry. It's focused on the insurance sector. And the case scenario is about how the branch manager of a particular insurance company was able to engage emotional intelligence component of social skills to drive employee engagement in a work environment where there is limited work tools, as well as in an environment where there is insurance apathy. So we are just going to go straight into the case scenario. Like I said, the case scenario is how the branch manager of an insurance company used emotional intelligence component of social skills to drive employee engagement. First of all, employee engagement is the passionate commitment and unalloyed dedication of employees to tax and to their organization. So how did the insurance manager of this particular branch of insurance company in Nigeria use emotional intelligence component of social skills to drive employee engagement? Meaning, how did they use it to drive unalloyed commitment and dedication of his team, of his staff, to tax and the company? And so we go straight into the case scenario. How the branch manager of an insurance company used emotional intelligence component of social skills to drive employee engagement. A branch manager of an insurance company in one of the states in Nigeria was assigned to revive a struggling branch that had recorded poor sales performance for over 2 years. The branch faced serious challenges. The sales force lacked sufficient work tools such as functional laptops, branded marketing materials and operational vehicles, and stable internet from the company headquarters. In addition, many citizens in the state had little trust in insurance services due to past negative experiences and poor awareness about the benefits of insurance. Rather than allowing frustration to weaken the morale of the employees, the branch manager applied the emotional intelligence component of social skills to strengthen employee engagement. The manager created an atmosphere of open communication where staff members were encouraged to express their concerns without fear. Now remember, the emotional intelligence components of social skills is where the other first 4 components of emotional intelligence come into physical demonstration: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and motivation. They come into physical demonstration at the level of the emotional intelligence components of social skills. The branch manager in this case scenario of this particular insurance company in Nigeria, giving room for his team members, his field officers to express themselves, to hear their concerns, to listen to the challenges they are going through. That is practically empathy in display, because the emotional intelligence component of empathy is all about being sensitive to the concerns and perspective of other people. And this is what came into play here by the manager of this company. He says the manager created an atmosphere of open communication where staff members were encouraged to express their concerns without fear. Weekly interactive meetings were introduced, not only to discuss targets, but also to celebrate small wins and appreciate individual efforts publicly. The manager also built strong interpersonal relationship with sales team by joining them occasionally on field marketing visits. During these outings, the manager demonstrated effective communication strategies for handling customer objections and educating prospective clients on the importance of insurance. Now, the emotional intelligence component of motivation is coming into play here. And the emotional intelligence component of motivation is the ability, to keep on pushing despite the fact that there are obstacles, there are limitations. And that is exactly what this manager of this particular insurance company, branch of insurance company, has done. He ensured that he kept the people, motivated, he kept them inspired by even being an example, of a field officer going to the field to model, what to do before these people. And that actually went a long way to get the people inspired. The manager also built strong interpersonal relationship with the sales team by joining them occasionally on field marketing visits. During these outings, the manager demonstrated effective communication strategies for handling customer objections and educating prospective clients on the importance of insurance. Understanding the emotional exhaustion of the employees, this is empathy. Empathy, being sensitive to the pains or the feeling of people. Understanding the emotional exhaustion of the employees, the manager introduced peer support groups within the branch. Team members shared success stories, encouraged one another, and exchanged sales ideas. The branch manager consistently used positive language, empathy, encouragement, and conflict resolution skills to maintain unity and motivation within the team. Now, he said to address public apathy toward insurance, the manager encouraged the sales force to focus on relationship-based marketing instead of aggressive selling. Staff members visited markets, business centers, religious gatherings, and community associations to educate people about risk management and financial protection. Over time, the branch began to gain public trust, employee morale improved significantly, and sales performance gradually increased despite the limited operational support from headquarters. This is an important case scenario when it comes to engaging social skills to drive employee engagement. Remember, employee engagement is the unalloyed dedication and commitment of employees to tasks, and the company they are working with. And sometimes situation could just happen, such as lack of work tools, such as challenging work environments, just like this case scenario where there is apathy by the citizens of this particular state to insurance apathy is so strong because of negative experiences they have had. And the manager was able to engage the emotional intelligence component of social skills to see that he managed the situation, kept the employees, the team members driven, kept them motivated, kept them inspired, and at the end of the day, over time, positive outcome came out. Remember, the emotional intelligence component of social skills is the ability to effectively manage relationships towards ensuring that desired outcome is achieved. And this is exactly what the manager of the branch of this insurance company in Nigeria exhibited. Let's see 3 leadership lessons from this case scenario. The first leadership lesson: strong relationships can sustain performance even when resources are limited. Strong relationships can sustain performance even when resources are limited. Leaders who connect emotionally with employees can maintain motivation and productivity during difficult times. This is what emotional intelligence is all about, to be able to manage emotion effectively, to ensure that you achieve workplace emotional stability that keeps the people motivated and engaged, concerning their work and the organization they are working with. Strong relationships can sustain performance even when resources are limited. Remember, in the case scenario, serious limited resources, no functional laptops, the insufficient branded marketing materials, no utility vehicle. And at the end of the day, the manager was able to connect with his team, his team members emotionally, and at the end of the day, performance was sustained. The second leadership lesson from this case scenario: employee engagement grows when leaders communicate with empathy and recognition. Employee engagement grows when leaders communicate with empathy and recognition. What is employee engagement? One more time. It is that dedication, unalloyed dedication and commitment of employees to tasks and their organization. And employee engagement grows when leaders communicate with empathy and recognition. If you want to see your team members, committed, have that unalloyed commitment and dedication to the team, to the organization, to the branch, to the unit, it is very important that you are able to communicate with them with empathy, and at the same time, the effort they are bringing on board, recognize those efforts, appreciate those efforts, just as it played out in this particular case scenario. Employee engagement grows when leaders communicate with empathy and recognition. People are more committed when they feel heard, appreciated, and included in organizational progress. As I conclude, the last lesson from this case scenario, the last leadership lesson is: influential leadership is built more on people skills than positional authority. Influential leadership is built more on people skills than positional authority. A leader who models teamwork, encouragement, and effective communication inspire employees to overcome challenges collectively. I seriously believe that profound value have been added to you today. I know that you want to connect with me, you want to reach me, you want to send your questions and inquiries across. Inuagata Nosahai is my email, inuaghata@gmail.com. Beg your pardon, inuagata@gmail.com is my email. Send your questions, forward your inquiries, and then I provide answers to you. One more time, it's inuagata@gmail.com, inuaghata@gmail.com. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday. And when I return, I'll still remain the amiable Inuagata Nosahai. Your day is so blessed. Thank you.
TMI this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Umko. It is the paper video we're going to be reviewing the dailies this morning, and our guest that would help us review the papers is Dr. Victor. Hi, Dr. Victor, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Always a pleasure.
All right. So our first paper this morning will be the Daily Trust papers. The Daily Trust paper, the big headline there says over 100 killed in Zamfara Market's airstrike. You get that on the Daily Trust headline. The holders by concern PCs. You get on page 4. The Daily Trust papers. Another one there says 11-month blackout cripples businesses in FCT communities. You get that on page 12 on the Daily Trust papers. Another headline there says gunmen attack Kano community, kill 5. Woman set husband, co-wife, children ablaze. You get that on page 6 on the Daily Trust newspaper. Another one there says 8 years after cult jails cult leader, 5 others in Kwara State. Together on page 13 on the paper. Dr. Victor, let's talk about the big headline there that says still on insecurity. That says over 100 killed in Zamfara Market's airstrike. I mean, the issue of insecurity is getting worse by the day. Let's get your take.
Yeah, okay, so it is unfortunate. It's collateral damage there. But I think these terrorists have, because there's now increased bombardments in their hideouts and all that, they're now moving into the communities. And unfortunately, people in these communities condone them. They do not expose them. And if they know that wherever they are, they will smoke them out, they will kill them, I think they will know that their time is up. So what happens is unfortunate. It happens in war, and I say so, my sympathy goes to the family of the civilians and innocent people killed. But sometimes in war, some things are necessary. If you want to go and hide among the people, if the military will follow you, they will bomb you wherever you go. Then I think they'll find that it's time to start looking for another business.
All right. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at the New Telegraph newspaper. Thank you so much for that. The big headline on the New Telegraph newspaper says Amakri, Homeland Security role will create tension within presidency command control structure. You get 2. And on 7, a writer says, another writer says, Tinubu overwhelmed by insecurity at Atiku. Another one says, the term homeland meaningless in Nigerian context, ADC. You get that on page 2 and also on page 7 on the New Telegraph papers. Another headline there says, Nigerian manufacturers struggle as rising costs, currency woes eats into profits. You also get that on the papers on page, on the New Telegraph papers. Another headline there says, troops seize over 400 satellite internet devices used by terrorists in Northeast. A writer says, repentant terrorists swear oath with Quran before reintegration, Borno government. Another one says 6 varsity students adopted in Nasarawa region freedom. You get that on page 4 and page 29 on the paper. Still on the headlines, Rivers screening controversy. Wike meets APC national chairman. You get that on page 7 on the paper. Longevity. Researchers discovers that sleep, outright diets, exercise. You get that on page 30 on the papers. 2027, probe removes governor using public funds for campaign action aid. You get that on page 5 and also on page 6 on the paper. Dr. Victor, let's talk about this repentant terrorist swear oath with Quran before reintegration. We spoke about it not too long. Let's get your take. I mean, they're going back to the society and they were asked to swear an oath with the Quran. Okay,
with every sense of responsibility, but also with respect for Muslim friends. I think that swearing that oath on the Quran, enforcing what they were doing in the first place, because the grounds upon which a lot of them, whether rightly or wrongly, embarked on those terrorists was based on that same book. I say so with every sense of respect and responsibility for, because I don't see why somebody will be caught stealing a good and they will jail him maybe 10, 20 years. Okay? You catch somebody with a knife and you hang him to death. Okay? And then somebody who you know has killed people. I don't understand. Let me just borrow on what they were talking about, this issue of the Homeland Security. I think I'm in agreement with the President. I just want to add the two together. I'm in total agreement with the President on that because the National Security Advisor has been there for too long and he has condoned what is happening. He has been accused of, whether rightly or wrongly, allegedly, of, condoning this because he's Fulani himself. Like I say, it's an allegation, so there's no proof of that. But I think he will sit up now because when you are the only man in charge, you can afford to relax, you feel you're untouchable and all that. Now that there's competition, he's no longer the only one in charge of security. In fact, Homeland Security now means it's like Ministry of Internal Affairs. You know what I mean? So if somebody else is in charge now, somebody will not go and be say when they are going to attack bandits, somebody will no longer call and say, stop, don't go there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Probably because his kinsmen are there and all that. That's not going to happen anymore. I think the President knows what he's doing. I'm in full support of it, in spite of what my good friend Amakri has said.
Oh, okay, thank you so much for that. Moving on, we're still on the paper's review. Let's take a look at the Daily Independent newspaper. The big headline on the Daily Independent newspaper says, Naira appreciates amid 30% FX inflow drop, beats supply stock. You get that on the Daily Independent. Another headline there says, ADIS raises the alarm over alleged 800 billion naira diversion for Tinubu re-election. You get that on page 7 on the paper. Another one says, Nigeria under siege, Tinubu overwhelmed by rising insecurity at Atiku. You get that on page 29 on the papers. Akwa Ibom doctors suspend services following EFCC raid at UUCH. You get that on page 6 also on the Daily Independent newspaper. Lagos Health Commissioner warns of 33,000 doctors shortfall. You get that on page 7 also on the papers. Rising costs, poor roads, fuel, tomato, pepper, rise hikes. You get that also on the papers this morning. Another headline there says, Tinubu OK's Nigerians hosting of 2026 staff award. You get that on page 6 on the papers also this morning. Tax reforms, economic growth, competitiveness. You get that on page 6 also on the Daily Independent newspaper. That is the federal government. NA declares for wrong London incident this morning. Dr. Victor, let's talk about the Naira appreciates amid 30% FX inflow drop, beat supply stock.
Okay, so obviously sometimes when you get how do I put it now, situations like this, the government can on its own decide to either create a massive inflow of FX, which means when you have so much of it, then there's a tendency for the currency, for the naira, it makes it cheaper. And then when it's scarce, it's just a law of demand and supply. When it is scarce, then obviously you have too few naira. I mean, too few dollars being chased by naira. Okay. So they must have a reason for it, but it's positive, and for those who are trading in FX, it's probably the best time to buy now. Just keep it there because it will surely rise again.
So it's the best time for them to buy now.
Yeah, so if it drops, you buy and hope that when it rises, you can cash in and cash out.
Interesting. Moving on, let's take a look at the daily paper. One of the headlines says, "Let's rain over surgeon in Africa." So, paper says, $1.5 loan amid debt concerns. You get that also on the papers this morning. Police arrest suspected robber, recover firearms in Ondo State. That is also on the papers. Another headline there says, "Sowore to Kwankwaso, you have become politically atrophied." You get that also on the papers this morning. Another headline there says, "Muftwang visits attack Plateau communities, vows justice for victims." You also get that on the papers. Daily Nigeria must end borrowing independence. You get that also on the papers. Then we saw another headline there says, "Nollywood in shock as actor Alex Ekubo dies at 40. You also get that on the papers this morning. Another one that says, "Go on, my autobiography will clarify civil war, not reruns." At our for the day, Dr. Victor Okay. Federal government seeks fresh $1.5 billion worth ban amid debt concerns.
I think the Minister of Finance, the new Minister of Finance, has provided an answer that we must end it. Dependence, we must end it. It's becoming ridiculous. Yes, I mean, we need to leverage on debt to grow. To grow sectors in the economy. But that is not. We had some subsidies. Instead of just sharing among the governors and all that, could that not have been? You just use that for political reasons, which is why all the governors now decided to join APC, because they were now saying money. But I think we could have done more. Look at Norway, what they did with the sovereign wealth fund. They don't make as much oil as we are, but they're one of the richest countries in the world today because they invested their oil money not just for generations to come. Or we keep borrowing, and that we're living for our generations unborn. Debts upon debts upon debts.
All right, we'll talk more later. Let's take the last paper, the Punch newspaper, and that says, "Pre-primary screening tension mounts as APC panels disqualifies over 150 aspirants." Dr. Victor.
Well, much as what is happening with the opposition parties looks favorable for APC, if APC is not careful, it might implode. Because what they're doing now, they've said people in National Assembly, no automatic ticket. Of course, not that there should be automatic ticket, but the internal wranglings have come. I've always said it, that when you find everybody coming into one party, it does not mean there's no ideology driving it. So there are different people, and they will come there and they will fight inside the
Just wait and see what happens.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Victor, for your time. Thank you, Nigerians, for joining us on the papers review this morning. We're still on CMI. Would be handing over to our Benin studio. Just stay with us.
The corporate world is set to expand.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Some days, there comes the Uge Mobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Mobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
morning to you. To welcome you to Abuja studio right there. Well, we really happening ahead of the 2027 election. It's been mudslinging, coalition, and so many things happening generally right there. But in the middle of all of this, there's also this talk about diaspora voting. So much talk has been done, especially among the ruling, within the ruling party, about the possibility of giving diaspora the opportunity to also be part of this election. And in the middle of all this, we also have low voter turnout. There's also becoming a worrisome trend right there. All these are some of the things we'll be discussing as I have a special person with me in the studio. I'm talking about no other person than Sam Eke. It's a pleasure to have you this morning.
Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
I know off camera we're talking about the whole lot of things that goes into politics right there. The permutations, not working, people jumping from one place to the other in a bid to find a little bit of leverage right there. But in the middle of this, there is this talk about diaspora voting. Let me first, what's your own take about diaspora voting?
Well, in a society where things are done well, diaspora voting, it is a long overdue thing. But you can see Nigeria having a peculiar situation. Nigeria is not like the developed world yet. We have no turnout of voters in Nigeria. When you have a population of almost 200 million people, you have registered voters of over close to 90 million persons, and the turnout for election is not more than 30 million. You know, there's a problem. Let's first get it right within the country. Diaspora voting, what are the terms, conditions of people who would register to vote? How do INEC have the logistics to monitor the election around the world? In every country in the world, there's a Nigerian there. So do we have the capacity to conduct election in every country in the world? How do we monitor the process? We are still complaining about the processes in Nigeria. Some persons believe it's not as good as it should be. And we are now talking about that. Can we overstretch INEC? These are questions that need answer. You and I know that INEC, as it stands today, would not conduct diaspora voting, and the actors in the political scene will accept it. Because a situation where you bring result, let's say 500,000 persons from Ghana, voting, Nigerians in Ghana, 500,000 voting. How did you conduct it? Are you conducting it from Tema or from Accra or from the northern region, or you know? How do you get these persons together and conduct it in a nation that is not yours? That's one. Two, will the opposition accept, or the loser of that election, will that person accept the results coming from the diaspora? Definitely no. Do you know how many Nigerians are in the US, the UK? How many are in Niger, Libya? You go around the world, when you are in Ghana, countries around us. Look at South Africa. Don't you see the issue of people, they talk about Nigerians. Nigerians everywhere. Modalities to get it right. It's more important than conducting the diaspora voting exercise. So for now, let's concentrate on improving and building trust among populace within the country when it comes to election. INEC should do more than they are doing today on voters' education, on public, on sure that Nigerians trust the process and participate in the process. That's what INEC should concentrate. Our lawmakers and the people in the diaspora, they are anxious to vote. Yes, it's good they are anxious to vote, but is there legal framework for it? Will opposition or politicians in Nigeria accept results coming from diaspora? Let me make this clear to you. The people in diaspora might be enlightened because of the environment they have seen themselves, or might mobilize themselves to vote. And let's assume a presidential candidate got 6 million, another one got 8 million, another one got 5 million. Then the one who got 5 million got diaspora vote of 3 million. Will the man who win within the country accept it?
No.
Eh?
It will be difficult to accept.
So let's not deceive ourselves for now. We have not gotten to that point of even accepting processes and believing in them. Look at the 2023 election conducted by INEC. And some persons today, after INEC have declared winners, some persons will still come on national TV and so on and say, the process was flawed and so on. So if at this point we don't even trust a process where you and I are within the country, is it results? Nigerians in the US, UK, in Europe generally, Asia, and other African, we all come out to vote. And don't be surprised, they might be, their vote might be up to 3 million or 4. When you add it to every vote, it's a problem. And the situation will be even bad because they might mobilize and vote one-sided.
Yeah. I was about getting to that. But before that, INEC has been around for close to 3 decades. Does it not show so much about their people today are still discrediting the ability to conduct free and fair election? What does it say about the system?
Can I say something? INEC has improved from where it used to be in 2007 to where it was in 2015. At least in 2015, Nigerians trust that INEC will conduct a credible election. And actually, Jega did a bit well. Nobody can take that away from Jega, that Jega actually acted a bit well, very matured. After Jega, Mahmoud came in. The process of Mahmoud, somehow some persons didn't trust the president. Not because of anything, just because of one single action Mahmoud took. And that action was announcing presidential result at the dead of the night. Yes, some of us are happy. The president is competent. He has been doing well. He won that election. The president won the election. But had it been, Mahmoud didn't announce that result at the dead of the early hours of the morning, maybe a late night also, maybe 2, 3, 4 a.m. or so. Some persons will not have the guts to say, oh, the process was flawed. That was the singular mistake INEC did. And it's not fair, moving forward, that INEC should progress in error. Because it will be robbing on the winner. And people would not trust the processes of INEC. So it's better, INEC, look inward and improve the process. INEC has changed. Now we don't have late starting of elections on election. The INEC has eliminated that. Yes, we don't have a situation whereby results are taking 1 week to, a lot of things have changed. INEC has improved. Actually, INEC has improved. Logistics, they have improved. Announcing results, they have also improved. It's just one single mistake.
Is it not funny that in Nigeria, when there's a process or a system, and we don't agree with that system or a process, we always put the blame on one individual. We see what happens in the Western world. When there's a process, people lay accusation, the election was rigged. Nobody ever mentioned the name of the chairman of the body responsible for the election. We always talk about the system. How come in Nigeria we don't talk about the system? We talk about one particular individual who is heading the system, being responsible for this. Why?
Yes, we have built our mentality around strong men, not strong institutions, and which is very wrong. what we should be building on is strong institutions. No matter who is there, processes cannot change. But in Nigeria, you build everything around strong men. Strong men. And once the man is off, everything collapses. That is the real problem of Nigeria.
And we don't see that there is no possibility that Nigeria may come out of that.
No, there is. You see, if you remember how EFCC started, it was built around Ribaldo. Later, EFCC was built around EFCC itself. It was not built around strong men any longer. Then they were, oh, Ribaldo. Today is no longer, it's EFCC. If EFCC is coming after you, you don't even know who the chief executive of EFCC is, but they just come. That's how you build an institution. You don't build it around a person. You build it around the system. You build a system whereby it's autopilot. Whether a person or they would think is what should do. Don't build it around a certain chairman. And INEC has also improved, because it's not the chairman that announces results in states.
You are saying INEC has improved. And every Nigerian man on the street does not take INEC.
I just gave you the reasons.
Yeah.
You know, an institution might be seen faulty because of a singular action.
Yeah.
I've just told you, when it comes to logistics, voting and so on, gone are the days where you hear, oh, INEC has not reached a certain location the day of election. It used to happen in this country. Gone are the days where people will say, oh, I got to the point of card reader could not read my fingerprint. Did you hear anybody saying that? It happened in this country, but INEC has improved on all that. The only problem they had is the announcement of result late night, which they didn't do it. It didn't favor. See, the winner has won. They would have announced it in the morning. Nobody would have had the guts to complain.
So you think that single action?
That's why some persons come out and they say. But if not so, INEC has improved.
But now let's go back to the genesis of this discussion, and it has to do with the diaspora voting.
Yeah.
The major canvassers of this are members of the ruling party. We've seen them talking about it. We've seen the lead was talking about diaspora voting. We also know that the diaspora voting, they can't feel the beat of Nigerians who are here, who are feeling the brunt of the law, who are feeling this economic system of this country. They are somewhere enjoying a different system. And you mentioned something which is quite salient. They can be canvassed, they can be swayed to vote for one particular candidate. Why are members of this ruling party canvassing for it? Is it because they think they can influence it?
Let me tell you, we have, headed by Abike Dabiri. It didn't start today. She has started canvassing for diaspora voting long before the establishment of Diaspora Commission. The people in the diaspora have always wanted to be part of the process. It is a good call. It's a good thing. It's not bad. But are we, as Nigerians, willing to accept the process? I will tell you categorically, no, I know Nigerians will not accept the process.
Then what alternative do we have?
For now, let's build what we have within Nigeria and make Nigerians trust the process. Whether they wake up, whether you tap them and say, oh, blinded credit will test me. That should. Diaspora voting. People will argue in court and tell you stories.
We'll come to that. I also have MLB also joining us via Zoom this morning to talk ahead of the talk about the diaspora voting and low voter turnout right there and some low voter education. Thank you so much, ma, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, I don't know whether you've been paying attention to what we've been talking about. And we are talking about diaspora voting amidst low voter education. What is your own take on this?
I think the issue of diaspora voting has been on for quite some time. You know, there was even a bill in 2004 at the National Assembly for diaspora voting. A lot of people have been advocating for it, and even it was backed up by even the former INEC chairman, you know, to talk about diaspora voting, and a lot of meetings were held. But the issue is, can we tidy up ourselves before we talk of that thing? That has been within the country, the packaging of the system. I know that our colleague there was talking about, you know, yeah, and you also inferred that we are building our system around individuals and not really about the system. But I think for INEC, INEC has come a long way. It hasn't been about the persons. It has been about the system itself. But you know, the leaders, you take responsibility for what happens because you are the one in charge of pronouncement, execution, implementation of your own plan, which you have done, and coming a long way with the beavers machine, with card reader, and how the system has improved. I think INEC has the capacity, like fellow discussant has, you know, pointed out, INEC has the capacity to deliver a free and fair election. But INEC is a name. INEC is an institution. The individuals, we have to look at the quality of our citizenship in handling the processes that we are entrusting to them. And I always bring that down. The chairman of, or let me say the electoral umpire for Germany is a card-carrying member of a party. Can you beat that? He's a card-carrying member of a party, but he's the electoral umpire. And when he was asked about how can you be a card-carrying member, what about the biases and all of that? How did they entrust you with that position of being a card-carrying member and then being the umpire? And he said the two don't mix. He has a job to do as a German. As a citizen, he has a job to do. But he also has his own responsibility as a citizen to be part of the political process, that the two don't mix. What it means is that being a citizen is a very heavy responsibility. If we are able to carry out our duties, the quality of the citizen needs to be determined, the quality of the individual who is the chairman of INEC, who is the electoral officer at the state level, who is the you know, electoral administrator at the different levels, who is the returning officer, and all of that. Each and every one of us has a responsibility. So when you come down to the low voter turnout within the country, we need to do certain things. We need to believe in the system, but first we need to believe in ourselves. Let's account for ourselves individually, what we have the capacity to do, because we need to deliver. To be a citizen is not a small thing. Are you delivering? Who is a corrupt person when it comes to how you manipulate the voting recordings and all of that? It is the individual. So when we start standing upright for Nigeria, the individuals and the collective, then the system will be strong. They have enough, you know, system. Is good for those who are living outside Nigeria to vote, and you know, to be able to cast their vote so that we can attract them home. So I think it's important that we resolve the issue. But voter education is very, very key. Voter education itself within Nigeria is very, very key. Getting people remobilized again. Like my colleague there pointed out, INEC was okay until the issue of the uploading of the presidential, you know, presidential votes, which they refused to, they did not upload. Who do we blame? Do we blame the system or do we blame the leader who promised that he was going to deliver and did not deliver? So in terms of diaspora voting, I think it's a good thing. When I was living outside the country, it would have been nice to go, and cast my vote. And it establishes a sense of belonging. In about 27 African countries already, they do diaspora voting. So Nigeria coming along, Nigeria that is supposed to marshal the way, just coming along is a different thing. So I think we need to align with developments, whether we like it or not. Things will catch up with us. It will come. If we don't do it now, it will be done sometime. But it's very, very important that I think, for the civil society, we are not bothered about who wins. We bother about the process. Let the process be free and fair. It is Nigerians that are on the ballot. Let them come out. And that's what we are talking about. And I think those are the things that INEC need to stand upright for Nigeria to be able to allow the system to also work. But I think we have great workers in INEC. They have done extensively, well. We just had the glitches, which threw us, many of us off balance when it happened. Thank you.
Yeah. Which one of you do you want on your quick reaction to that before we end over to?
Well, it's just same thing. We don't build institutions around humans. Let's build institutions that will work. INEC has improved, as I earlier said, but this time around, each citizen of the country must behave as a citizen that loves the nation. No matter what divide you are, do the right thing. Once you do the right thing, Nigeria will be better off. I pray INEC will also keep pushing to sensitize Nigerians and build confidence in Nigeria so that voters will turn out in mass. You don't have 90,000 registered voters and 90 million registered voters, and you just get less than 20 million or 30 million out of it. It's not good for us. What we need is a situation where majority of Nigerians will come out in their mass and vote. The issue of diaspora voting is good that the discussion have started. Yeah. It is good that the process have started. It might not happen today, but it will happen in future. But let's first get it right at home. Because getting it right outside of the country it will lead to a lot of us. Budget for it. INEC will have to send its staffs around the world.
And also the reception for the result is another thing that
accepting the result. A lot of things come with it. So let's get it right here and then work towards diaspora voting in the near future.
I must say big thank you to you, Samike, for joining us this morning. And also I must say big thank you to INLD also for joining us via Zoom this morning. Time not really on our hand. We just have to move on right there. And we'll be going over to our Benin Network studio. We are also, Evans is also standing by to continue the conversation on this Morning On Itv.
ITV, certainly the best.
All right, thank you. Still on the program this morning on ITV. Yes, we said we are going to be talking about the 2027 election and, of course, the major issues that seems to be developing. Now, we have seen the recent move whereby the Kwangwaso has said that the possibility of NDC and, of course, ADC is still very, very possible. Now, the big question that we ask to that is that why was the splitting, done earlier on? Well, to look at all this this morning and some of the recent developments as it relates to the 2027 presidential election, we have a former chairman of the Labour Party, Kelly Ogbaloy, who is joining us virtually this morning from Benin. Mr. Kelly, very good morning to you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now, what is your immediate response, to the rebate of NDC, as one of the major opposition political parties for this next election? I call it the rebate now because before this time, NDC seems not to have some prominence. But with the move of Peter Obi coming into the Labour Party, into the NDC and all that, seems to have given it, some political, importance now. So what is your response to the rebate?
Well, if you ask me, of course, politics is a struggle, and from time to time, everybody, we try as much as possible to reposition and position again. Therefore, the rebate is normal to within the confines of political activities, because as a struggle, we want to see how we'll also wrestle power from where power resides currently, and those who are holding the power are also struggling to ensure that the power is kept. So the rebate, as your statement, is normal within the environment of politics.
All right, so I have my co-anchor here too, Wisin Omasho. He's also going to be asking some questions. Wisin.
All right, Comrade Kelly, good morning. I have just one question followed by next question. So I can really clear the air. How is Labour Party doing in Edo State this time? Are they doing well? Before I come to the next question. Are you there, Comrade Kelly?
All right, Comrade Kelly Ogbalo, if you can hear us, the question is, how is Labour Party doing right now? At the moment in Edo State. Well, we understand that he's the former chairman of Labour Party.
Because that should form the basis of this discussion. He needs to let us know how Labour Party is
about a
faring
political
in Edo
party
State.
that he does not belong to anymore. Yeah, Kelly Ogbalo.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Comrade Kelly Ogbaloy. Okay. All right. So listen to, in my own view,
you're not going to answer for him. Because,
I know,
because the question is still there waiting for him.
Yeah, when it comes on, he's going to be answering the question. So for us to ask, somebody that is not a member of a political party, how does the party, what's the party doing?
No. He never told us that he's not a member of the party.
Yeah, but we just introduced him as former chairman.
Chairman, yes. Okay. But he didn't say he's out of it. So we need to know before we follow up with the next, because it's a rebirth of political parties. But we need to know if he's still there, if he's not there, fine, then we can continue from there. So, Mr. Kelly, if you can hear us, you're the former chairman of Labour Party Edo State. How is the Labour Party faring in Edo State?
The question should be, is he still a member of the Labour Party? Anyway, we are going to be re-establishing, connection with Kelly Ogbaloy. We're saying the realignment, political parties and all that. Now, there's nothing bad when political parties realigned, just as we said, earlier on this show. But the major question is, what you are realigning for now? Are you sure it's not going to be a major problem, an obstacle in the front?
Good point, Evans. Now, it's not a crime for there to be a realignment. It's not a crime for there to be, swearing new oath, new allegiance to new political party. But the question now is, what is the end game? because the end game is all that matters. In Nigerian politics, the end game is always victory. If the realignment will not give back to victory, so what is the essence of realigning in the first place? Someone saying you can choose to realign because you want to, like, you know, line up your pocket. You can choose to realign because you have to, like, you know, make gains because you've been losing for quite a while. You can choose to realign because you want to be, like, relevant in the scheme of things. So the question now is, why this realignment? How come majority of Nigerians are now moving from the political party to NDC or ADC, as the case will be? But the question also is, if they choose to realign and choose to, like, you know, come into any political party vis-a-vis the NDC, what do they stand to gain?
A very big question. What do they stand to gain? So that's what politicians are going to be answering. Even in the state level, we've seen how some politicians before now, 2 weeks ago, they were in the Labour Party, and of course in some other parties, but right now they seem to be in the NDC. Now, Kelly Ogbaloy, we seem to have you now. Mr. Kelly.
Okay, well, let's see if our technician can just, like, you know, handle this. We have to go for a break. When we return, we'll be to establish contact with Kelly Ogbaloy. We'll be asking him some questions. I know you want to know the questions between our team this morning. Good morning.
In a rare display of botanical brilliance, the palm tree defied natural norms, sprouting multiple branches that bear fruits. This rare occurrence has become a wonder to many, as experts are calling it a one-in-a-million phenomenon. Could this multiple-headed marvel hold secrets to agricultural breakthroughs, or is it simply a freak accident of nature? An agronomist with Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFO Benin. The strange palm tree also raises issues of a blend of science with human interest and cultural significance for maximum impact.
Thank you one more time. The program's still on your television this morning on ITV. Yes, we apologize for that break there. We still have Comrade Kelly Ogbaloy, the former chairman of Labour Party in Edo State. Now, Kelly, Wilson was about asking whether you are still a member of the Labour Party, even if we had an argument, backstage, but he said we must ask that question because that seems to, that would be the major, basis for discussing with you this morning. So are you still a member of the Labour Party?
Evans.
In Edo State.
I just asked, how is the Labour Party doing in Edo State? That was a question. So, Mr. Kelly, how is Labour Party in Edo State?
Oh yeah, Labour Party in Edo State is still working stronger, is in place, and is very prepared to compete in every respect of political activities. We just concluded our congresses at the state and attended a convention now where the new national chairman of our party, Senator Nenado Usman, was formally now inaugurated. At the state level, state congresses have held, and Comrade Michael Shobuje was elected as the current chairman of Labour Party in Edo State.
Right. I think
Now,
that's as good as saying I still a member.
Yeah, of course. Now, with your poster boy for last year's election, P2B, now in the NDC. Now, what are the chances of a political party coming out tops in any election in Nigeria come 2027?
Well, we continue to make this mistake. There's no single individual that holds the life of people. Is a great man, like I said in the past. He did everything possible to ensure that much of the light of Labour Party was more aglow when it came. But that is not to say, therefore, that if it's no longer there, therefore Labour Party will not compete or will not exist. So I think we must remove this fact of pivoting unnecessarily Labour Party around Gregory Obi, as it were.
All right, Mr. Kelly, now we want you to give us your own opinion because there seems to be a phenomenon that is creeping into the two opposition parties now, the two parties that are opposing the all-ruling Progressives Congress. I'm talking about the NDC and the ADC. Now, the issue of zoning, one seems to be saying that, okay, we can zone our presidency to the south, while the other one seems not to be saying anything about it. So what is your take on that?
Well, my take is not far from the fact that they must agree to compromise. So the other one that is not talking about it must agree to talk about it. Because if you don't do that, it means that there's no agreement anywhere. For me, they must agree to discuss if they must form an opposition that can wrestle power from the current government of Nigeria, led by APC. So my view is as simple that the one of it, ADC, if it's not talking, it must agree to talk.
All right, now, if you take a look at permutation and combination right now, you get to realize that the alliance that was once strong in the political party of ADC has now been fragmented because P2B and Kwankwaso choose to leave ADC to NDC. Now, with this type of arrangement, do you think the opposition will be strong enough to contest and win the ruling political party, which is the APC?
Yeah, I do not think so. That is why I have mentioned that there's a need for the two sides to meet and discuss and talk together. But don't forget that even at the least of it all, there is a way that political parties cement their relationship and still come out formidably. So even if you see these current circumstances as of now, I'm hopeful that the chances for these two sides to come together and cement their differences and work together is still very possible.
Now, the issue of time seems to be another concern. I mean, for political analysts, because as we speak now, the NDC seems not to have a formidable leadership, as it were. I mean, just about last week we saw whereby it was this same Kwankwaso that was having issue with the chairman of NDC in Kano State. Now, the chairman is of the opinion that he's not going to leave the party for any person. Now, with that situation, how do you think that the NDC is going to hold sway in this election?
Well, I have not agreed that NDC will hold sway at all. I am not saying so. But I have just made an opinion to say, if NDC just fragmented from ADC recently, it was a thought. It was perhaps, in my view, a strategy for a realignment of the two sides to come out more formidable. But if NDC appear to be taking it all alone, the chances of making a pact that can dislodge the current government is likely to be very bleak as far as I'm concerned. So this grandstanding of being this toga of I'm a very senior political person and all of that, this show of power must in ADC, be brought to serious reduction so that you can harness the interest and confidence of all that person that will follow suit. So I think to at this moment start picking quarrel with any of the officials of NDC is too early. And therefore, it's my advice in chief that those ones who worked all around need the people at the grassroots to work with them to succeed.
All right, now you talked about power tussle. Some call it ego. Do you think that is the pitfall or the Waterloo of the opposition?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Going to existing political parties and thinking that you can erode the structure that is there and take it all over. It is not right. You create controversies and create problems. And of course, that is what is currently happening in ADC. You know, you come around, you overrun everybody there, and you think they will go to their homes and sleep. So you must remove that once you are coming to a place that is, of course, new. Accept and accommodate those who are already there. It is only there and then you can have their buy-in and see how we can probably drive opposition and achieve the objective of being so.
All right. It's on the papers this morning that the ADC is alleging that some governors have diverted up to the tune of about 800 billion naira for the APC for next year's election. But some politicians are of the opinion that rather than be diverting attention, why don't you focus on what seems to be a problem, lack of internal democracy, within the ADC, instead of trying to make allusion to what is happening outside your party and all that. I don't know how you may also want to say one or two things about that.
When internal problems are solved, then you have much effort, much energy to deal with the externals. But you can't be having your hands on several piles of problems. You are talking, you have internal issues to resolve. You are now coming to say, oh, governors here and there did this or that. That won't help anybody. So I agree with the analyst totally that you first of all have to deal with the problems you have. It's only there and then you have the powers to go out and deal with the external problems. So why talking about governors? Yes, it will be corrupt. It is corrupt. It is not acceptable within the society that you should divert funds. And that is again when we have substantiable evidences to that fact. And then how you can arrange the individuals being brought to book, because those who allege this must prove. So instead of dissipating energy on dealing with that in the interim, why don't you fix the problems you have internally? So for me, I agree with the analyst who says it's better to concentrate in solving our internal problems first of all, so that we'll have the leverage to be able to deal with the external problems.
All right, now we're way back. Our political parties or politicians, even ordinary Nigerians, are like saying that the ruling party, APC, seems to be the one that is behind, the court litigation, the confusions in other political parties. Can they still beat of their chest with their hands to say that the ruling party is still the one behind the scene, pulling the string for the dissolution, or last say the splitting, so to speak, of the ADC that saw Kwankwason, of course, Peter, be moving to the NDC?
Well, any opposition is capable of saying anything, but it is clear. It's clear that it's clear that even if you say the government of the day is responsible for A and B, but you must also critically prove that if you have internal problems, because those who took some officials of ADC to court are not currently in the APC, they are not there. So it's purely an internal issues which they need to resolve. So I agree that they would be limited in now trying to point hands at the ruling government to say you are responsible for our woes. But by the way, like I said earlier, politics is a struggle, and however you struggle to keep power without being outside the confines of constitutional provisions, it's acceptable, because no one man will hold powers and expect you to come and simply take it from them without fighting. And you who want to type power must find a way to fight to get it. So it's all politics. You can't begin to blame anyone for struggling to keep what he has, or should we blame you struggling to say, well, the way you are using what you have is not acceptable to us, you need to drop it. We can't blame anybody. So it is for us to concentrate and deal with the main issues instead of pointing accusations.
All right, some few minutes ago, we understand that the NDC has released a timetable for the purchase of forms, interest forms and all that. And even as we speak now, we understand that a certain amount has been released. For example, we have that the party has pegged a presidential form at 60 million naira, comprising 20 million naira for expression of interest form and 40 million naira for nomination form. Now, what politicians and opinion seekers are saying is that for a party that wants to bring a difference into the political space, I mean, 60 million for expression of interest for presidential position is too much. I don't know what your thoughts are along that line.
Well, my thoughts are as clear as this. First, you check whether those amount fixed were done via the internal provisions, constitutional provision of the party, if it's legitimate to do so. If that had been done, we now check what is the public thinking, because political parties don't trade, and the only way they raise funds for their parties is by selling of forms. And so it does not matter whether the party intends to bring so much to the people of the country to now determine how they will raise money without necessarily going out of the provisions of their constitution. So I think that is not sufficient to judge whether the political party will do well or not.
Kelly, well, no, what we are saying is that what NDC seems to be holding as opposition party to the ruling party, the APC, is that the purchase of forms is too expensive. But what we are saying now is that they are also guilty of this. I mean, if you doubt me, you can check the Daily Trust of this morning. Just released some few hours ago, whereby we understand that 2027 election, NDC pegs presidential form at 60 million naira and governorship at 30 million naira. So the question again, for a party that wants to bring difference into the system, I mean, it's almost as guilty as the party that it opposes.
And that's why I said, it's like you don't take the bearing of thinking, the bearing of assessing whether the party will do well or not from the sales of party funds. That's what I'm trying to say, whether it be APC or NDC. So I have also mentioned that the only way political parties raise money from themselves, which I know officially, is by selling their funds. And so there are several activities for political parties to run. So if the NDC sat and checked that, okay, if we look at this, we can raise also and so budget to enable us run campaigns or all the offices we have to feed, then of course it's not sufficient to judge from this point, from that point that they will not do well. Because first of all, they must also enthrow credible persons who are to take leadership in the country. So for me, the sales of form would not be sufficient, will not be enough to say, oh, we are looking at it that NDC will not do well.
All right, Comrade Ogbaloy, if you take a look at what you just said, like a follow-up question to Evans's question, now do you not feel that it's all about making money for these political parties? Do you think that that is what is behind their actions for pegging XYZ amount of money on the forms? Is it all about the money or all about winning?
No, Marshall, Marshall, that's not the point. The point is the process of election. And that's why I said if NDC had looked at what budget they need for purpose of prosecuting election in Nigeria and they fixed that amount, it is not enough for us to now say, oh, it's too high, therefore they are not likely to do well. So it's not all about money, but you cannot take it away that political parties need some level of funds to operate and deliver. And of course, you must also look at the quality of persons you are to deliver. Because whether you like it or not, NDC is asking the people, is relatively too high or above the budget they are looking for. Then we can talk.
NDC pegged down amount at 60 million, and of course ADC ahead 90 million, APC 100 million. How much do you feel that Labour Party will peg theirs if it's not about the money?
I think we lost. Yeah, I think we lost. You know, now we're saying, you know, these political parties when they peg, you know,
because right now, you know what? I'm just thinking, APC 100.
Yeah.
ADC 90,
NDC 60 million.
Is it all about the money or the victory?
You know, I don't know, because we want to ask the question, these parties, where have they been? I understand that the NDC just came on board, you know, but I think that's not enough reason to...
No, right now they have a poster boy, and the poster boy is selling. President Peter Obi, so yeah, so...
Peter Obi is the poster boy?
Oh, sure!
You know, but listen, let us also look at this, you know, when Peter Obi was in Labour Party, we had this issue that has to do with, you know, they even went, some Labour Party people, they went with the preaching, we give nothing, we expect nothing and all that.
We know they give shishi.
Now, the question I'm asking now, for this NDC again, now, it appears that with this 60 million naira expression of interest form for the presidential ticket, you can also see this same idea of that, look, oh, we really don't have money.
All right.
We're not a buoyant
Comrade
party.
Kelly is back.
I think Comrade Kelly is back now. Comrade Kelly, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, now back to the question before we went off due to technical hitches occasioned by network. Now, you said that it's not all about the money, it's not about credible candidates. And now ask the question, APC 100 million, ADC 90 million, NDC 60 million. Now, how much do you think that the Labour Party will peg theirs if it's not about the money?
Well, the Labour Party, we not necessarily want to peg according to what others did. But if you look at the calculation, it's graduated. You know, APC 100, the other one 90, the other one 60. So you find that each political party is looking at what does it want to do, what budget does it need, by ensuring that you don't necessarily level up with all others. For instance, now, why was the ADC saying 90 million? Why NDC saying 60? So you find that each political party is looking at what necessarily can help them prosecute the elections by way of funding. And so they graduate accordingly. So it is not going to be Labour Party per se. Labour Party has fixed, I'm just trying to get what was that, but however, it's not going to be in line with what others are doing. It could be lesser, it could be higher.
All right, the deadline for the submission of The deadline for the primaries is supposed to be 30th of May. That's this month of May 2026. Now, today is 13th. We have just about one or two more weeks left before we come to the 30th of May. Now, the NDC seems to, I don't want to say it seems to be having a major leadership problem, but the question is, this time factor, don't you think is an issue that the NDC should work at?
Well, it's certainly an issue. I agree with you because the electoral payout fees and you must work towards it. So, but again, NDC is aware of this limitation, and it's my view that they may be working within to ensure that they beat it, to take care of their internal issues, and if they want to seriously participate and beat that deadline. That's my view.
Well, some of the products would money be pegged at this expensive amount, so to speak, is a way of weeding willing youths and Nigerians that might have interest in office, but they don't have the money. Now, how do you think this will create that particular environment of fairness? Maybe just maybe I want to run, but because of the said amount that will be used to purchase this, even for the presidential, the governorship, the chairmanship, House of Assembly, the National Assembly, you just name it. Don't you think this is going to push so many persons away that might have interest in vying for office in all these political parties in Nigeria?
But Marshall, let me inform you that there are what you call waivers in all of this. Every political party has it. So if there's a credible youth that can be so placed in such circumstances, is to approach the party, and supplicate to say, here I am for you, and I can do this, I can do that. Then the political party will waive. And so because of the confidence we have on you, and because we believe you can do A and B, don't pay. That is there. So they should exploit it. We can't say because the youth and some other persons are coming and therefore the political party will not do what it should do to keep the party afloat. So if you have, like, there are provisions for women, there are provisions for those having the experiences of disability, there are provisions for youth. So there are waivers here and there. Even capable elderly persons can also experience waivers when you approach the political party. Of course, in Labour Party so far, the funds for Dr. Oti was handed over free. So you understand. So there are always safety nets here and there. But do not look at it on the point of saying, because one political party has said, give me 100 million, and that's to say it's not going to perform or is not driving the yearning aspiration of the people of the country. No, because in all of this, there is certain innate waivers. So when you provide your supplication, when you bring your supplication forward, the party looks at it, objectively and say, okay, for so and so reason, we waive. So can they take advantage of that, Mr. Omasho?
Okay, Kelly, just before we let you go, we want you to, touchlight more on the ability, or what some see as inability of the NDC to manage this diverse political alliance that is based on interest. I mean, Kwangwaso there, Peter Obi there, and all that. Before the primaries, you hinted on that a while ago, and of course before the election. Speak on the ability, or what some people see perceived as the inability of the NDC to go through all this.
Well, if I'm here to discuss the ability of NDC to be able to push through in all its problems and all of that, I will be becoming opposition to my party. I should rather be discussing the ability of my party to hold sway and win elections in 2027. So I am not going to be given to discussing whether NDC have the ability to. If they don't have the ability to do, it's better for Labour Party.
But now, sorry for bringing you back before we call it around, but you talked about waivers. The waivers I heard is like, half the amount. How many used to be able to at least go half the amount of 60 million, 90 million, 100 million? How many used to even have 5 million in their account in Nigeria that may be interested in running for political office?
Macho, if I understand your question well, I have said there are waivers. So that there are waivers is for the individual to approach the political party of their choice to make a case for themselves. And once this is done, the waiver could be don't pay at all. The waiver could be, okay, we were saying 60 million, but do 20, do 10, do 50. Except you are saying that the funds should be given free. Masho.
All right, we want to say thank you so much to you, Kelly Ogbaloy. Yes, the former chairman of Labour Party in Edo State, and thanks for bearing your minds on some of the issues. I mean, as it relates to these political parties opposing each other, and of course opposing the bigger party.
And of course
APC,
the money issue.
You know, the money issue and all that. So we just say thank you so much. We wish all of you guys, I mean all the politicians, well as we prepare for the election. All right, so we'll take a short pause now so that we'll join Lagos on their discussion segment this morning. Please stay tuned.
A beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Unko, and of course our guest here is Dr. Victor Ohai. He is a UN humanitarian ambassador. Hello, Doctor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Once again.
Good morning. And
thank you for always coming. So today we're going to be talking about the Nigerians' rising debt profile. Federal government seeks fresh $1.25 billion worth bank, and raised serious concern about how the money being borrowed by the federal government, how is it being spent, that the federal government keep borrowing and borrowing. Nigerian debts conversation is back in the spotlight report that the federal government is exploring funding with the international discussion coming at a time Nigerians read about around priority and subsidy. The government borrowing reached structure stability means reduced by presentable critics. Performances that continues to consume a huge of government revenue. This has gotten a lot of
the infrastructure they talk about, see it. I don't see it. Okay, you may say there's Lagos Calabar Expressway. That's not right. It's not important. But there are where education is still suffering. Okay, healthcare. I mean, I don't even know where to start from. So I'm just worried that what we're leaving for those who are coming is sort of unsustainable. I mean, I imagine that when the subsidy was removed, that would have freed up funds to be able to take care of quite a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But that has not exactly been the case. You know, we instead we have gone into further borrowing. The funds that were freed up from subsidy payment was instead used to was shared among the states. And what has happened is that the state governments are so overwhelmed with too much money right now that they don't even know what to do. All of them have come to the ruling party because it's like free money for them. No one is holding anyone accountable. I don't see the effect or the impact in the states either. So much money available to them, to the ordinary Niger. Look at a country like Norway, for instance, where, and Okonjo Iweala wanted to start sovereign sovereign wealth fund for Nigeria, but I don't know what happened to it. Botswana has employed a Nigerian to manage its own sovereign wealth fund. Nigeria has had an opportunity to go into such savings. Instead of that, all we're doing is just borrowing and borrowing and more borrowing. And it's worrisome. And there are implications.
So Nigerians, we are not seeing any benefit for all those loans that the presidents kept borrowing and borrowing.
Seeing it? I honestly don't. And the valuation of it is even worse. It gets even worse. No administration since Nigeria became borrowed as money.
Dr. Victor, do you think Nigeria can realistically grow without borrowing, without external borrowing? So let's bank.
The question is not whether even America borrows. So that's not the issue. When you borrow, what do you use it for? That's the question. And when you borrow, are you borrowing just to squander? And those who are that, you know, all this borrowing is towards servicing elections, the forthcoming elections, to raise funds, elections. They may have a point, they may not have a point. But you cannot blame those who have that, who are making that argument, because at the end of the day, you're asking yourself, so much has been borrowed. How much of it are Nigerians? Our lives better. I mean, as you are right now, if you were to borrow 10, 20 million naira, for instance, okay, in addition to whatever else you have, you're not borrowing for, obviously, for conspicuous consumption, but somehow your environment will be better. When I mean better, if you are running this, we would see the impact, we would see it, okay? And because you are borrowing to put in business, it should improve your income and your revenue, and it should also reflect in your life. But I don't know if that reflects in the life of the ordinary man on the street. That's what worries me.
You know, I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday.
Yes.
The person said we should wake up now more morning, say each year in President. I mean, this whole thing, when he said that, I was just laughing. But at the same time, don't you think you're saying it?
What's Nigeria's population? I'm tempted to do a calculation now. 156 or 159 trillion so far. Permit me, I don't know if my calculator can. But it's important for the public. Let us see what we are owing. How many Nigerians, how many people are in Nigeria today? Give me a figure. How many? What's the population of Nigeria, please? Just give me a figure. Let's work with any figure.
That's a whole lot.
How can you say hold on? I would say we estimate about 200, 220 million thereabouts.
They just say 220 billion. 220
million. Okay, so 156 trillion. I calculator can carry it. No. I can't doubt. Let me see. 159. Trillion is how many zero? Yeah, that's 12 zeros.
12 zeros.
Yeah, by 120 million. that money in your account?
We saw that the Minister of Finance, Oyedele, he said in the papers this morning that Nigeria must end borrowing dependence. I mean,
yes, because there are some people who are still sensible in government, who have a conscience, who know. And when he made that statement, I hope they don't take it out against him, because the former finance minister, in trying to speak truth to power, became a victim of his honesty. What Oyedele said is quite right. The debt side is too heavy. Stress on yourself, the interest will keep increasing. You are owing 7.2. I'll keep reminding you. You are owing 7 point something million. Your mother is owing 7 point something million. Your sisters, they are owing 7 point something million. With what he's added now, I don't know what that will be.
$1.25 billion.
Eh?
That's what he's requesting for.
Yes, what is I don't even want to add that. If we add, that's a whole different story. Because $1 billion is already 1.3 something trillion. Talking about, by that you add 1.3?
$1.25 billion.
1.25. So right now we're talking well over 160 trillion that we're owing. Okay?
That's a whole lot of money. I don't know if you've been seeing a couple of videos trending on the internet, where group of persons seen to be APCers, sharing money with the envelope of the face of the president, and the envelope, sharing money for people. And a lot of persons are saying that, okay, speculation, people saying, seeing that video, it's obvious that they're like, okay, election is by the corner, come support us. Election is coming, come support us. Persons were saying that, is this what the is actually money for, that they kept borrowing and borrowing, and some persons were blaming those citizens, those Nigerians that collected the money, and other persons were saying, oh, okay, this money is our money, collect it, and on the day of election, go vote your conscience. The person you want to vote for, go vote for them, and that they're giving you, collect. So do you think this persons, they go in there to collect the money, they will still go vote for the president?
There's a danger.
Conscience?
There's a danger with collecting money. See, let me use myself as an example. I can sit and talk freely because I'm not compromised. If a man gives you money, if you collect money from any politician, the day you say anything against them, they'll call you a traitor. You might wonder, why would they call you a traitor? You don't chop their money. And then you call Upuma, call the talk against them. If you have a clear conscience, you can call the president, whatever, you can say whatever you want to say. They will only call you Agbaya, or call you any name, they can say, don't mind that fool, that idiot. But if you have collected money from their hand and you dare go against them, if they kill you, they may be justified. That's the danger.
You've taken from them.
Yes, you have. So that's the thing. The thing about say, collect it and go and vote your conscience is that what makes you even better than them?
But some people are saying this money is ours.
You may say it's yours, but in law, it's a crime to partake of stolen goods.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Dr. Victor.
Or fly private jets and then later claim that it's his heir.
Dr. Victor, I don't know what you're talking about.
Neither do I.
Okay, let's talk about, don't you think most of these debts, they were actually inherited from the past administration?
I'm talking about borrowing. The one I mentioned now is one Tinubu borrowed, President Tinubu. 159 trillion. I'm not talking about previous administration. If you add all that one, then what you are owing is, that would just, it will scare Nigerians. Everything I said was only under President Tinubu. I was careful to make sure I did not include any other debt. That's exactly what he has borrowed to date. With the currency devaluation, the figures are bigger. When the Naira was stronger, it would, the numbers would not have been as big as that. Okay, but with the currency devaluation, before, how many times were you hearing trillion in Nigeria? Now you have trillionaires. Before you say billionaire, yeah. Once you have $1 million, now you're a trillionaire. Can you imagine that? No, not trillionaire, a billionaire. Sorry. You know, that's for $1 million, that's 1.3 billion. Okay, so, but the Naira now is so divided, like I said, it's not what, you know, money now is like nothing. So you have big figures because of the devaluation.
So now the president is saying that he's borrowing for economic stability. Don't you think it's just simply for survival? Amen.
Fortunately, we're going to be the ones to suffer. Watch what will happen next year when they start implementing taxation. Nigerians will look for where to run to. There will be no place to run to.
So it's getting worse.
It cannot get better. I don't know how. I want to be optimistic.
So Nigerians
I'm hopeful
need
for
to
the
be
government.
Prepared
I'm
ahead
hopeful.
Of 2027.
I'm hopeful. I don't wish any administration bad. You know why? Because if it's good for them, it's also good for us. And if you're the only comfortable person in the family, you're a poor man or in your neighborhood.
Everybody's dependent on you.
Yes. So everybody, this has to be shared. You know, the prosperity has to go around. So I don't wish administration bad. I sincerely wish them well. For the sake of, for my sake, of those around. So all the rest will reduce. Because people will have enough. But unfortunately, how? Because money is circulating only around a few people. It's not trickling down. So you see frustration everywhere. People are almost going mad. You cannot feed, you cannot go out. I was doing some calculations in the office with one of your colleagues just before coming on air. And I said to him, if you go to work every day with the present cost of fuel, You know, like in Lagos here, where we are from, Lagos Station. You go to the island every day. You spend anywhere from 800 to 1 million naira to fill your tank. If you go faithfully every day from the mainland to the island.
A month?
Yes, a month. A month. If you even manage it or you have an economical car, there's no way you spend less than 400,000 to 500,000. A week you must spend not less than 200,000. Unless you are not flying that route. Forget even hold of it with good road. Now, and if you're on band A, don't use AC, only lights. You will spend between 200 and 250,000. That's how much. How much is salary? You have not bought food. You have not paid children's school fees. You have not paid house rent. Huh? You have not, I mean, there's so many things you need to take care of. You have not done any of those. Suddenly now, as you saw in the papers today, even though we didn't discuss it, but you can't get tomato 1,000 naira anymore or 500 naira anymore. Is that life? And then when I was talking to your colleague, he was saying, fuel is one of the cheapest in the world. I say, how your income? If you want to say, talk about cost of fuel, which is your income? In America, minimum wage is about 10, 15 per hour. Okay, $10 is almost 14 an hour. So you have to put you for very cheap. You talk about a new car, you say at 20 million is very cheap. You are telling that to a man whose salary in a year is 840,000. So you compare the person you are talking to, you are telling is very cheap. At his level, you cannot tell that to a man who does not even say a million. The car, yes, may actually be cheap compared to other cars. But who are you talking to? Nigeria is like that poor man. If you have money, then you say it's cheap. If you don't have money, even 1 naira is too much money. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about.
Okay, let's talk about the forthcoming 2027 election. Apart from we all know now another strong opposition party, apart from the All Progressive Congress, the APC. And I overheard someone, we're having a conversation with a guest, and one said, oh, Peter Obi said, okay, if he's given the opportunity to be president, if he eventually wins, you know, he's serving for 1 term for the 4 years, after the 4 years is done, and he would, you know, help, you know, Nigeria. Do you think, even if he comes to power for this forthcoming election, he eventually wins, we don't know yet, do you think it will help fix Nigeria? I mean, with all the debts and everything in Nigeria, do you think it will help? Or the current ruling president wins again? What do you think, I mean, concerning the debt aspect and the economic stability and all of that? Like you and your friend were discussing, I was discussing with someone else a few days ago, and I told the person it was good that Buhari and Tinubu entered. If they had not come in, we would have thought that, if they had ruled Nigeria, Nigeria would have been paradise. We have seen 8 years of Buhari, nearly Tinubu. I'm still looking for paradise. Okay? So, it's hard to say what any of them will do. What the politicians do is just sell hope. That's all they do. They sell hope. They sell hope as a drug to people who are ready for anything. They say, even if Obi, unless he like National Assembly, and maybe people of his kind enter a National Assembly and then they support him as an individual, with the kind of people we have in National Assembly now, they will also impeach him. May not last. And they will frustrate him.
So I don't know how Nigeria can be fixed with the current set of politicians that we have. Mind you, there are good ones among them, but they're in the minority.
There are good ones among them,
yes, but they're in the minority.
Okay.
They try to attract all the bad ones surrounding them who are in the majority.
So if you had the government today, Dr. Victor, or how immediate step would you about?
I think it's important to listen to the ordinary Nigerians, not the people around them. But if your reforms kill me, now of what benefit is it?
No
so
benefit.
It's a social enterprise. There's got to be a balance, you know, and that balance is a very delicate balance. You know what's in the best interest. You can put those hard rules, run it like a business, but don't forget, like I said, it's a social enterprise. You're supposed to take care of people. They're supposed to survive. It's supposed to be welfareist in a way. If you run it strictly as a business and then you're going to kill people. That was why things like the subsidy would have been okay. But I thought that the subsidy should now have been transferred to things like the refinery.
Okay.
You understand? And it's not like giving them the money, but selling crude to them at a cheaper price belongs to all Nigerians. Sell it at a cheaper price to the refinery so that they can refine and in turn sell to Nigerians at a much cheaper price.
Okay.
You know, because if fuel if you don't have light, it can kill you. And then I don't know, we should just subsidize food as well. Very, very important.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Victor. For
thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nigerians, for
already
joining.
Time? Already time?
Yeah, it's already time. Thank you all our viewers. I mean, Nigeria's debt, it's already raising concerns. Nigerians are concerned about the debt.
We're owing 7.2 million naira each.
Nigerians are concerned about the debt, you know, the country is owing, and we just want, you know, we want answers. What are this money being used for? Thank you once again, Dr. Victor, for your time.
Thank you for
and thank you all our viewers for joining our Lagos Network studio this beautiful morning on CMI. We would be handing over to Benin, so our Benin Network studio for the continuation of CMI. I am Marcelina. I'm going to stay with us.
Good morning. Welcome to the news update on Independent Television. I am Echoy Davis. A 10-year-old boy, thank God Alex, who went missing after school hours on Monday, has been found by operatives of Edo State Security Corps. The child who left his school located along GRA Airport Road was discovered around midnight along the Igboba Hill Bypass Corridor in Benin City. Crime correspondent Jolade Ojo reports.
10-year-old Thank God Alex, a Primary 5 pupil of Family Support Program Nursery and Primary School in Benin City, never imagined his journey home after school would turn into hours of uncertainty and fear. According to the pupil, his mother sometimes drops him and his sister off at school in the morning and picks them up later in the day, while on some occasions he returns home by himself. However, on Monday, Alex said he was instructed to head home alone after school hours as he was not assigned any responsibility to pick up his sibling. The boy, who resides at Egiato Street around the Uwa axis in Benin City, lost his way and wandered through several areas before ending up around the Bubaiu bypass late at night.
I used to drop my sister before I go to school. If I'm going back, I'll carry her.
Yesterday now, you did not even carry your sister?
No, my daddy said he'll carry her.
What time did you leave your school yesterday?
Say, around 1 o'clock. And I not to my classmates. I don't know my house again. And I say, let me help you now, fan it. Now fan. Now say, after you want to go home.
Deputy Corps Commander Operations, Edo State Security Corps, Richard Balogun, said the pupil was found by operatives of the Kobaid Sector Command at 12 midnight, appearing stranded and disoriented.
So thank God that our men are vigilant. They see him on uniform. They sighted him midnight. They took him to their custody, take care of him, and early this morning they brought him to hospital who can reunite him with his family. So you see, only let's see to our parents that you must keep watch over your children.
The child was thereafter handed over to the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development.
I want to commend the efforts of Mr. Balogun of the Edo State Security Corps, because a lot of things are going on in the society, and this is one of the menace.
From Benin, Jola Adeojo, ITV News.
The Edo State Council of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, on Monday evening commemorated the passing of reggae icon Bob Nestor Marley with tributes and reggae performances aimed at promoting unity, peace and togetherness, values the late musician stood for throughout his lifetime. Joy Obarsiadman has details.
May 11th is observed annually across the world as Bob Marley Day, marking the anniversary of the reggae legend death of May 11th, 1981. At the Marley Nights organized by the Edo State Council of the NUJ, journalists and invited guests gathered in an atmosphere of relaxation and reflection, accompanied by reggae music and goodwill messages. In his remarks, Chairman of the Edo NUJ Council, Comrade Festus Aleke, encouraged journalists to remain committed to professionalism by ensuring accuracy and proper verification of information before dissemination.
Journalists too, despite the fact that we run stories, it's also our responsibility to deepen human rights, and that is what Bob Marley stood for. We must observe the ethics of the journalistic profession, which takes us to ensure that we verify every information that comes our way.
The high point of the event was the rendition of Bob Marley's popular One Love anthem, symbolizing unity and togetherness, as well as the presentation of awards to distinguished personalities. Some guests and members of the NUJ described the event as a unique platform for journalists to unwind, while reflecting on Bob Marley's contribution to societal development through his music and advocacy for peace.
Reggae is my music. It enlightens the body.
Relieving yourself of the stress of the day, it should be a thing that should continue.
It's bringing us together. I know as journalists, we work all the day. So we have this opportunity. We are happy. We are sharing one love. We are meeting ourselves. It's a good one.
Dignitaries at the event, including chapel chairmen and secretaries, NUJ Vice Chairman Ede Agu, Managing Director of Edo State Transport Service Barrister Festus Eimoa, and the Chief Press Secretary to the Edo State Government, Patrick Ebujele. From Benin, Joy Obaisiago, ITV News.
Residents of Edo State have joined the rest of the world in celebrating International Nurses Day paying tribute to nurses for their dedication and vital contribution to healthcare delivery. As the global community marks the 2026 edition of the event, citizens are also calling on governments at all levels to improve the welfare of nurses and address the growing shortage of healthcare personnel.
Our nurses, our future. Empowered nurses save lives. The campaign highlights the need for greater investment in the nursing profession as healthcare demands continue to rise globally. In Benin City, some residents praised nurses for their resilience, compassion, and commitment to patient care. However, they stressed the need for improved relationships between nurses and patients to enhance service delivery.
Nurses are very essential in this world. They take care of us. The nurses are trying. We thank God for their lives and we pray that the government will do more for them.
They complement the efforts of the doctors. But one thing is very spectacular about the nurses, most especially in government hospitals, their attitude towards patients. Even when patients are dying, you call on the nurses, they don't respond. They have that nonchalant attitude as if it's their father's place of work.
A medical practitioner described the nurses as the backbone of the healthcare system. He emphasized the need to encourage more young Nigerians to embrace the profession and urged government to take urgent steps to tackle the shortage of nurses in the country.
For the fact that there is shortage of nursing in the system, there's still a need for them to give out their best. The government too have to play a role to ensure that this shortage of nurses in the healthcare system is contained. This can be done through the establishment of more nursing school, encouraging the student to go into sciences.
Other residents called for better salaries, improved working conditions, and enhanced incentives to motivate nurses and discourage the increasing migration of healthcare workers abroad. From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
And this is where we'll call it a wrap on the news update at this time. Thank you so much for watching. I am Echo Davis. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
The corporate world is set to exchange footballers.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Another beautiful Wednesday morning. Hello and welcome to TMI Socials, where we talk trending stories making waves on social media, and of course to hear people's reaction about a particular story. So the first story we would be talking about, we saw where the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Muftuang, where he said people posting the killings and attack in Plateau State on social media are deliberately trying to demarcate the state. And this particular video has gotten a lot of people talking. Take a look at the video before we go to the reactions.
But many of you that are in a hurry to put it on social media, you are destroying the state. And sometimes you put on social media what you had as a rumor. The lives you put in danger sometimes with what you put on social media. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. I appeal to our media people. We have nothing to hide. But all our media people, you need to be more responsible. There is a deliberate plan to demarcate Plateau State and to tell the world that Plateau State is not anywhere that anybody should visit. But let me reassure Nigerians and the world that Plateau still remains the home of peace and tourism.
Interesting. Let's take a look at people's reaction. All right, this first person said, all people that carried out the attack and the misleaders who allowed it and are yet to apprehend the perpetrators, even when they claim to know. What a shame. Turn to the home of terrorism. This other person said, the market which states, a state that has been battling insecurity for decades now. How are videos showing people killed, buried, and being chased off their homes, the marketing, the states? Question. Look at another. How they die and lost family members and breadwinners. Interesting. Let's take a look at another reaction. Ronnie says they are gasping with breath because social media is exposing their evil agenda of Christian genocide. The only way to cover up is to sweep it under the carpet and use diplomacy to escape being called out. You guys came late. Nigerians' division is unstoppable. Okay, let's take take a look at another reaction. So the people doing the killings are not the problem, but the problem is people making the awareness of the killings. This country is gone. Interesting. This other person, Liberty, says people are dying and Mr. Governor is trying to be politically correct. Very sad indeed. Interesting. Okay, that is for that. This is really, really sad, trust me. And another story we saw on the internet making wave, we saw that according to that has been trending, where some group of persons were seen sharing money, you know, with the envelope of the face of the president. We saw that a few days ago, and yesterday we saw these also, you know, sharing money to people. And a lot of persons are saying, is it because of the forthcoming 2027 election, you know, you're giving them, they can come support you, and it has got different reactions and different comments on social media. Take a look at the video before we go to the reactions. Interesting. Let's take a look at people's reaction about this particular story. This person says, how are they doing this openly, and the security agencies are just mute? We can't continue like this as a country. Let's take a look at another reaction. This other user, Chika, said, if they are in a country that is governed by the rule of law, the EFCC should have picked them up for questioning. Another user says, why is this current administration making it look like they are doing Nigerians, the federal government seeks fresh $1.25 billion World Bank loan.
All right, now this is where we'll come to the high points of the program today, and we'll sincerely apologize for that very unsteady nature of the sound quality with this TMI socials from Lagos. Well, by the special grace of God, tomorrow is going to be another time on the program this morning on ITV. On behalf of my co-anchors in Benin here, Wisino Marshall and Anioluwa Stevens, my name is Evan Sunokugi. Until same time tomorrow, goodbye and God bless you.